have a strong business, you need to adapt to change. Transitioning from traditional to digital marketing is not that hard on our part. Pinadali ng Canva ang trabaho namin.
I was not very familiar with digital art, but with the help of Canva, our team was able to create our logo, flyers, greeting cards, and there are lots of readily available templates that we can use. All you have to do is to provide the content.
What I like the most is how collaborative the platform is for me and for my client and for my team, and how I can easily access them whenever, wherever.
We have built a brand which leads us to our loyal customers.
Thank you, Canva, and this is my Canva story.
Salamat, Canva!
Salamat, Canva.
Ito ang kwentong Canva ko.
And I'm the owner of CDG Content Agency. Canva has helped my business grow from having 2 clients into now more than 60 plus clients across the globe. I do everything in Canva, from social media content, which is my main offering. I also edit now the videos that I create in Canva as well. At the same time, doon din ako gumagawa ng presentation, sales pitch decks, invoices, lahat doon ko ginagawa sa Canva. Dahil sa Canva, nagkaroon ako ng savings, nakapagpakasal ako, nagkaroon ako ng sariling bahay, and yeah, I'm really grateful to Canva. I can definitely help you in any aspect of your life. So if you haven't tried Canva, please make sure to check it out today.
so much better, oh yeah. Before you I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky, oh. There's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Follow your heart, baby, don't be shy. You know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Follow your heart, baby, don't be shy. Just follow yours and I'll follow mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Something good. Yes, I heard it all the same. But go ahead, amuse me. I need it now. I need it now. All them pretty words, always lame. You're trying to entice me. Not going down. Not going down. And you. You've been quite the player, but I am buying. I just am buying. You can quit your rent, you will fail, and I won't catch you later. Now take a note, and you trying to make a case, don't wait, 'cause you about to be erased, ace. I got too much love for me, got too much love for me, got too much love for me, got too much love for me. So much more than I'm not trying to build, and I won't lower myself. I play a different game. Got too much love for me, love for me. I know how you hate to lose, but this ain't about you. No, this ain't about you. I know you spent all night, but this ain't about you. It's how I respect me. I got too much love for me, got too much love for me, got too much love for me, got too much love for me. So much more than I'm not trying to build, and I won't lower myself. I play a different game. Got too much love for me, love for me.
Ayan! Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat at welcome sa ating first ever Negosyantrends, the Canva MSME Summit. My name is Isa. I'm a community manager at Canva and I'll be one of your hosts for tonight. At sasamahan tayo ngayon ng the one and only Gladys Franco, our social media and community lead. Hello, Gladys.
Hi, Isa. Hello, everybody, and good evening. I am so excited to be here. At sa lahat ng, titignan ko lang, 1,326 viewers natin, we are so happy that you are here with us. Kung gusto nyong i-share itong feed na to, itong webinar na ito sa mga friends nyo at sa mga ka-negosyante ninyo, please do so. Kasi Isa, bakit ba sobrang special ang 5-day summit natin na ito?
Ayan, let me share that with you, no? Bongga talaga to, Gladys, dahil this is the first time in Canva that we are bringing together industry experts in business registration, e-commerce, social media advertising, and video marketing in one summit. At bukod pa dyan, mamimili rin kami ng lucky participants, no, na pwedeng manalo ng free brand consultation with our design mentors, a tour in our Canva Philippines office, at special session na rin with our inspiring negosyantes. Plus, ito pa, hindi pa ako tapos. You get free Canva Pro when you attend at least 3 webinars.
Grabe, wait, ang dami nun. Pero hindi po magiging posible ang event na ito kung wala po ang ating event partner. So thank you so much to all of you for supporting our goal to empower more negosyantes and freelancers together.
Yes, and let's also thank our official media partners, CNN Philippines, wheninmanila.com, Adobo Magazine, spot.ph, and Esquire Philippines.
Nako, ang susosyal. Anyways, wag po kayong aalis sa buong webinar na ito dahil marami po kaming giveaway para sa inyo. Abangan nyo lang yung mga announcement namin in between at bago matapos ang day 1 ng summit natin.
Yan, tama ka dyan, Gladys. Kung pwede lang, gusto ko rin mapanalunan itong mga inihanda nating prizes, no? Kaya naman, tutok lang kayo during our live. And to officially kick off our 5-day Negosyante Summit, let me introduce our keynote speaker for today. So he is Canva Philippines Head of Design, and he has grown the design team to over 200 team members in the Philippines and has worked on product, brand, print and templates design. He is also a motion designer by craft and a beloved coach and people leader to our designers. He is instrumental in the launch of our campaigns such as Canva Pasko, which helped us achieve our first million users in the Philippines. Here to provide an inspiring message for all of us, let's all welcome Canva Philippines Head of Design, Angelo Cuyegkeng.
Thank you, Gladys and Isa. Medyo mahirap i-match yung energy nyo, pero try ko. Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Angelo, Head of Design of Canva Philippines. Firstly, I want to say thank you to all the participants, special guests, and speakers joining us this evening. And of course, the team behind this event, congratulations. This year, we're celebrating Canva's 8th year in the Philippines. So from the very beginning, Canva has been on a mission to empower everyone to design. And we've certainly taken this mission to heart here in the Philippines for our Filipino community. The past 8 years have been so meaningful. We built strong relationships, grew our local team, and invested in communities that embraced Canva as their go-to design and visual communications platform. When we first opened our Manila office in 2014, we started only with a team of 8 people within our customer happiness team. Now we have over 700 employees in the Philippines, and we continue to introduce more localized and diverse content and initiatives for Filipinos, including the launch of Canva for Negosyo for Filipino entrepreneurs. So as our way to say thank you to all of you and to take our commitment further, we want to welcome you to the first ever Negosyantes, the Canva MSME Summit 2022. This summit will bring together design experts from Canva Philippines and industry leaders from the Department of Trade and Industry, TikTok, Lazada, Ragstretches, WhenInManila.com, and Mami Mundo, among others. The pandemic has shown us the resilience of our negosyantes. Nakita naman namin ang discarding Pinoy at humanga din kami sa sipag at determinasyon ng lahat ng aspiring business owners. Kaya naman, we want to empower you even more. We hope that through this summit, we're able to help you take your business to the next level, whether it's for branding, growing your business, or collaborating for your business. Kaya mo sa Canva yan. Maraming salamat sa suporta ninyong lahat, and we hope that you learn a lot in the next few weeks. To our partners and speakers, maraming salamat sa inyong suporta and for entrusting Canva Philippines to do this with. That's it from me, and I hope you all enjoy the first ever Negosyantes MSME Summit. Back to you, Isa and Gladys.
Thank you so much for that inspiring speech, Angelo. What a great way to officially kick off our summit. Bago tayo magpatuloy, gusto ko lang mag-say hi sa 1,708 viewers natin today. Lahat kayo ay special, but we also wanted to give a shout out to our friend and Canva user, Marvin Agustin. We will see you in our day 5.
Yes. Ayan, agree ako dyan, Gladys. And hello, Marvin. So, abangan nyo si Marvin who will be our guest and one of our panel speakers no on day 5 of our Negosyantes get-together on August 6. Ayan. So, alam kong excited na kayong lahat na matuto for today. Kaya tingnan nga natin, Gladys, no? Comment, let's go kung ready na ba kayong ma-meet ang ating first speaker for tonight.
Alright, let's see.
Ayan.
Look at the comment section.
Ayan. Ito, while waiting siguro for the answers, no?
Yeah.
Sige, tanungin kita, Gladys, bakit nga ba importante ang magkaroon ng brand for your business?
Isa, hindi ako speaker, pero may pa-question ka, no? Okay, pero sasagutin natin yan. I think it's important to have a brand for your business. Very Miss Universe. Pero kasi isipin nyo, kung merong 5 magtataho na sabay-sabay nagbebenta, what will set them apart? Siyempre yung branding nila, no?
True.
So ano ba yung tone mo na distinct kesa dun sa iba? Paano mo isisigaw ang taho? Ganon. So yun yung branding. So it's just something that sets you apart para mas mapansin ka ng mamimili ng customers. Yon ang aking sagot. Okay ba?
Yes.
Alright.
In fairness, baka okay na pala na hindi na natin makilala yung first speaker. Joke lang.
Alright. Well, Isa, nakikita ko sa ating comment section,
Yes.
bumabaha na ng let's go. So mukhang
Yes.
ready na po tayong lahat. Huwag na natin patagalin pa. Let me introduce our first speaker for tonight. She is a visual storyteller for the everyday Filipino, inspired by moments that are truly Pinoy. Through her work at Canva as an art director, she is able to collaborate with a great creative team to do the most good they can do through design. Together, they share stories of ligaya, lakas, inspirasyon, kirot, sakit, at marami pang iba to Canva's local audience. And in the process, empower Filipinos to tell their own. Here to talk about building your brand, with Canva. Let's all welcome Canva's art director for Brand Studio, Chloe Palamos. Chloe, take it away.
Hello! Grabe, ang ganda ng intro. Thank you so much, Gladys.
Hi, Chloe.
Yes, take it away, Flo.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm really excited to learn with you guys today. Again, I'm Chloe, art director here at Canva, part of the great team Brand Studio Manila sa kwento ni Gladys. At Brand Studio Manila, mahilig kaming magkwento ng truly local stories inspired by truly local moments to connect with our Pinoy audience and empower them to tell their own stories. Super excited na talaga ako. Medyo nanginginig ako, medyo naiiyak din ako. Oh my God. I'll try to share as much as I can about branding your business with everyone. Tapos by the end of the session, sana magkaroon kayo ng mas malalim na understanding about branding para maging mas inspired kayo and empowered to create your own. Let's begin. Let's start with our agenda today. Like we said, we like storytelling. Today, ang kwento natin is branding. We'll start by understanding what branding is. From there, we'll talk about how important your brand purpose and values are. So basically, start tayo sa parts that will act as your brand's core. After that, I'll try to share the most I can about dressing up your brand by going through style guides and brand kits. Share ko rin muna to. I want you guys to go to this link or scan the QR code. This will be our workbook for today's session. Pwede nyo siyang gamitin sa pag-build ng sarili nyong branding. Tapos pwede na naman na mag-add lang kayo ng notes dyan. It's okay. You don't have to to pressure yourself to build your own branding right now. So pwedeng notes lang muna and then you can work on it separately para you can give it more focus then. So yeah, just scan the QR code or add the link on your search bar. Okay, I'll give it 5 seconds. All right. To guide us through this session, we will be using the imaginary brand Sela Home. Sela Home, imagination lang natin to. It's a small local business that sells handcrafted mirrors for your home. Sa room nyo, ipang mga mirror selfie and stuff like that. Tapos, with this imaginary brand, we'll try to identify Sela's brand purpose and values and personality, and then create a style guide and brand kit. Let's start with this question. What is a brand? When you hear the word brand, what do you think of? Ano yung una mong naiisip? Isip mo ba yung colors of Google or yung script that represents Disney or the Apple logo for Apple? These are brands most of us are familiar with. So, yung brand mo ba is basically your logo? Well, part of having a brand is having a logo. And branding is putting that logo on different things. But there's more to it. Your logo is just one of the components. We can think of a brand as an identity. It involves how people think of the brand and perceive it. Try to think of brands like people. You can recognize particular people by their clothes, belongings, personality. Think about how different people make you feel and what you think of when you hear their name. This is the same concept with brands. They can be perceived differently by how they position themselves and how their audience describes and recognizes them. Brand identities can also manifest in many different ways, such as through their colors, logos, fonts, and imagery. So, your logo alone doesn't define your brand. While it helps people to recognize your brand, it's just one piece of your brand puzzle. Part of the brand puzzle is the perception, identity, and experience. So let's go with purpose. Let's try to understand brand purpose. Successful brands are clear about what they stand for, and they organize their entire business around it. On the next slide, I'll show you a short clip from Simon Sinek's TED Talk, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Tapos, on this video, he explains how to identify and communicate your brand purpose and how important it is to start with the question, why? Just play this video.
Probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it. But very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. By why, I mean, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? And why should anyone care? The inspired leaders and the inspired organizations all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. That's how most marketing is done. That's how most sales is done. We say what we do. We say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? People don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe.
Okay, so on this slide, try to take a mental picture of this diagram. It's from that video. Remember it and apply it when you create your own brand story. Start with your why and work from the inside out. Here are some examples. Apple's why is to create products that enrich people's daily lives. Nike exists to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And Canva exists to empower the world to design. Let's break it down further. Again, we start with our why. Your why is your purpose, and your purpose is the impact you want to have in the world. Once that's clear to you, you can then identify your how or your process and your what or the result you want to achieve. Let's go back to our imaginary brand, Sela. With Sela, our purpose is to inspire people to pause and reflect. It encourages deep and insightful meditation so people can appreciate the world more by starting with themselves. On your workbook, you'll also find this slide where you can add your brand's purpose. Again, with your brand's purpose, make sure you're clear about what you stand for so you can organize your entire business around it. Let's move on to values. Values will guide your culture by saying, this is how we do things around here. It also guides your purpose. These values should be clear and actionable. For example, these are Canva's 3 brand values. They are the North Star for everything we create at Canva. So far, we've learned that in creating a brand story, we start with the question why. Let's make it more specific and ask, why does your brand exist and what values will guide it? Balik tayo sa Canva example. Canva's purpose is to empower the world to design, and the values that guide this purpose are being human, empowering, and inspiring. Again, balik na naman tayo sa imaginary brand natin, Sela. Sa Sela, we want our values to be kind, warm, and inspiring. You can also add your own values for your own brand on your workbook. Remember, they should be clear and actionable. Up next is personality. This is my favorite part. But we want to ask first, why does your brand even need personality? Kasi parang na-mention ni Gladys kanina, kung merong 5 magtataho, saan ka bibili? Sino yung bibilan mo ng taho? Siyempre, yung magandang branding and yung may branding na mas naiintindihan mo and mas nakaka-resonate with. If you try to appeal to everyone, you end up with a brand that's watered down and without focus. So your brand personality is important for a point of difference and to help you resonate with your specific audience. Think about your best friend. What connects you to them? Ano yung personality nila? Are they tahimik, maingay, kalog? Are they serious, practical? We tend to be drawn to people who are like us because madali natin silang naiintindihan. The same goes for brands. Personality is one of the most important things about branding. We keep saying na, think about your brand like it's a person. Ano yung mga adjectives that you would use to describe it? On your workbook, makikita niyo tong scale na to. And you can also try to plot where your brand sits on each spectrum. Yung brand mo ba is more playful than serious? Is it more youthful? Is it more formal? Is it more contemporary? This could be your starting point sa pag-pinpoint kung ano yung mga actual personality ng brand mo. Example ulit, si Canva is leaning more on the playful side while still being a bit serious. Canva is also more youthful than mature. It's more on the mass side than the elite. It's more casual than formal and more contemporary than traditional. This one is the one that I did for Sela. For Sela, I wanted to be more serious but not that serious. Pero medyo may konting playfulness pa rin. And I also wanted to be more on the youthful side. I wanted to sit just between mass and elite, just in the middle of mass and elite, and just in the middle of casual and formal. And wanted to be a bit more contemporary than traditional. Okay, recap kasi ang dami na nun agad. So far, we've asked ourselves the question, what's our purpose? What do we believe in? And what's our brand personality? Those three, purpose, values, and personality, they fall under your brand core. Ito yung parang soul ng brand mo. A really great example of brand core and identity is David Bowie. This is David at his core. He has a personality and values that are inherent and don't change over time. With your brand, once you've identified your purpose, values, and personality, you can then start working on your hows. The how is the process. The process kung paano natin ikikwento yung why natin. Going back to David Bowie, over the decades, he evolved with the times and trends. He expressed himself outwardly in a lot of different ways. This is a bit like a brand. At its core, it should remain the same, but it should have enough flexibility to evolve over time. All right, now that we've identified Sela's purpose, values, and personality, it's time to distill those into a style guide. Think of it as dressing up your brand. But first, what is a brand style guide? And exactly why is it important? A style guide displays how you want to express. A style guide displays the visual rules around how you want to express your brand. It will specify your choices of color, fonts, typography, imagery, and logo. So ito, as mentioned, logo, colors, imagery, fonts, and typography. Your brand should have a consistent look and feel. This is where your style guide comes in, to be your single source of truth. Style guides clearly explain how to visually communicate everything for your brand. The reason style guides are so important is to ensure that everyone designing for or representing your brand stays on brand. And this helps, also more importantly, your style guide helps people recognize and fall in love with your brand. Kasi mas makikilala nila every time na makikita nila, ay, ito yung brand na nakita ko last time. I recognize it because you used a style guide. And it creates more recall. Here's an example of a style guide showing colors, fonts, logo, and imagery, which I want to use consistently to represent our imaginary mirror brand, Sela Home. So here we have Sela's logo, colors, imagery, and typography. We'll break this down. We'll go step by step kung paano tayo nagland on this logo, these colors, imagery, and typography. Let's start exploring how to set up a style guide with color. Okay, color. Color has a really big impact on your brand. That's because different colors carry different associations for all of us. To find what colors fit your brand, you first need to identify what you want to communicate. It's a good idea na bumalik dun sa core natin when we're coming up with brand colors and the other components of our style guide. We always need to come back to the core part. Balikan natin yung purpose natin, yung values and personality. Balikan natin yung, wait, I got lost. Balikan natin yung purpose, values, and personality natin para mas ma-figure out natin kung paano natin ikikwento yung mga yon using colors. Do we want to be trusted? Do we want to be edgy? Do we want to be minimal? Yung colors mo should come from your motivation and what you want to express with your identity. So, when trying to identify the colors for your brand, ask yourself, what feelings do you want your brand to evoke? Here you can see how important it is to choose the right color to represent your brand. Understanding the inherent meanings behind colors helps you decide what you want your brand to convey. Example, light is used to express cleanliness. Growth is often used to express, green is often used to express growth. And sometimes people use black for mystery. Sometimes people use pink for femininity and playfulness, orange for friendliness. So ikaw, once you've chosen your main color, ang next step mo naman is to find colors to complement it. Medyo tricky siya if you're not an experienced designer, but luckily, Canva is here to help. If you're not sure how to choose a great looking color palette, may tool si Canva to help kasi, kaya sa Canva. You can access it at canva.com/colors. Tapos makikita nyo dyan na meron tayong color palette generator, And my ideas also, the color wheel, and also color meanings that you can go through to learn more about colors. Something important to take note of also, especially since more and more people are consuming visual content online, when combining colors, consider accessibility. About 5% of the world's population has some sort of color blindness. Making sure you have high contrast is important for legibility. You'll see here that colors on the opposite side of the spectrum have higher contrast than those next to each other. So mas nababasa natin yung yellow and blue compared to the one sa baba na red and orange. Okay, activity muna, quick quiz muna tayo. Alam niyo ba kung anong brand to just by looking at the colors? You can comment on the chat. Meron. Nakakaalam. I will wait. Yes! Okay, may mga ang dami pala. Medyo na late yung comments. Okay, this is the colors that Google use. Next tayo. What brand is this? Medyo. Okay. I think the comments are coming in late. But there, I'm seeing it na. Yes, this is Instagram. Next up, this one. Anybody? Okay, I'm still getting Instagram. Okay, I think the comments are coming in late, pero this is the colors that McDonald's use. So familiar naman tayo dyan. They use red. Parang red is also associated, parang it helps you medyo mas ganahan kumain. That's why a lot of food chains use red. Okay, this one, sayang kasi late yung comments, but alam niyo ba kung anong brand to? No comments. Yes, this is Canva. Merong isang nag-answer ng Canva and I don't know kung nasa na siya. But yes, ito yung color ng Canva. This is the famous Canva gradient. And yung story behind this is parang it's the process of designing yung magsisimula ka and then idea and then designing. It's so awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's go back to our imaginary brand, Sela. These are the colors that I chose for it. I really wanted it to remind people of nature, so I have some earth tones here. I have the bone sort of beige color to represent peace and mental clarity. And orange to add some friendliness to it para hindi naman siya puro neutral. Also, medyo exciting na biglang may orange. Oh, yay, nice, super friendly. And then, orange is also a very confident color, which is also something that we want our audience to feel about the brand. Ikaw rin, you can also try adding your brand colors on your workbook if you are there. And yeah. Next up, fonts and typography. So now that we know our colors, it's time to look at fonts. Your brand typography is another opportunity to connect the dots between who you are and how you want to articulate that into the world. So choose a font that reflects your brand's personality. If you're a wedding photographer, you might want a script font, which feels more romantic. If you're a financial firm, you might want a serif font to convey reliability. Kasi yes, font choices matter and it's important to set the right tone with your font choice. For example, aling note yung mas gusto mong matanggap dito? Depends, di ba? Joke lang. But it's clearly shown here that nag-iiba yung meaning ng message depending dun sa font na ginamit. These are three font categories you need to know about. Also, we have sans serif, serif, and display. Sans serif and serif fonts, these are often used for headlines and body copy. Display fonts are designed for headlines. They can be bold, cute, elegant, or quirky. Because they have so much personality, they're best used in small doses. Kasi tingnan nyo naman, very expressive. So decide on a style that expresses your brand personality, then pick a font that resonates with it. On here, the adjectives na nandito, introverted, extroverted, neutral, or lots of personality, short, tall, these adjectives are expressed visually through fonts. Dito sa example natin dito. So, pag nakapili ka na ng primary font mo or just kung ano yung gusto mong overall mood of your typography, you can start pairing fonts na. So, you'll need to pick complementary fonts to match your headline font. Pwede kang mag-try sa Canva. There are many suggestions to get you started. You just need to, on your editor, you just need to click on text and then scroll. You'll find a lot of ideas here you can start with. For Sela, I chose the font, the youngest serif, because it's classy and modern, doesn't look too old, but it's classy, and it kind of looks a bit handmade. Tapos, for the secondary font, I chose Alegria Sans for the same reasons. Classy, modern, looks personal and handmade. And together, they complement each other and tells us a story that's somehow peaceful and makes you kind of think. So, yan yung typography natin for our imaginary brand, Sela. Your font choices can become synonymous with your brand. So dito, can you tell these brands just by looking at their fonts? May hint na kasi we're also sharing their colors. I think this one was shared na a while ago. Okay. Move on tayo. There. We'll see here, dito pa lang sa previous slide, medyo marirecognize mo na kung ano yung mga brand na yan. Tapos dito, mas marirecognize mo pa ulit kung ano sila kasi kasama na yung logo. So this is Instagram, Nike, Airbnb, Adobe, Twitter, and Spotify. Let's move on now to our imagery. Your brand imagery is everything that makes up your brand's visual aesthetic. Icons, photos, illustrations, they all play a role. And just like colors and fonts, they help your brand tell a story and deliver on its promise. Whether your brand is illustration heavy or photography led, there's no denying imagery matters. especially now nga, more than ever, it's important to stand out. Kasi, online everything is cluttered and you're fighting to get attention. So your imagery really matters. Just remember though, consistency is key. Ask yourself, do your images follow the same aesthetic? And do they work in sync with all the other elements of your brand? Here, here's what I've gathered for our imaginary brand, Sela. And the imagery, I want it to look natural and peaceful. Tapos, for graphic elements, I added these arcs to represent home in the shape of her signature mirror product. So, arc shape siya. So, yep, that's the imagery we want for our imaginary brand, Sela. Let's move on to logo. So we've explored how to identify our brand purpose, values, and personality. We know what colors, fonts, and imagery we want to use. Now we can translate that into a logo. A logo is like the summary or a visual simplification of your brand identity. Erring more on the simplicity side, on the side of simplicity and clarity is more important. Medyo tempting minsan nalagay mo dun lahat para yun, fun ka, madami kang personality. But it can become overwhelming and messy. So it's better to focus on communicating one idea well. Your logo is a vessel that you have to put meaning into. It takes a lot of time for your audience to build a connection with your logo. The average consumer takes at least 7 exposures to remember it. Here, we're showing 3 logos. We have a word mark. This is the eBay word mark. We have a symbol logo, Apple's logo, and we have both, FedEx. Word mark siya, tapos they also have the arrow symbol there. Here's a demo of how I created Sela's logo on Canva. I started by going to templates and clicking on logos. Tapos there, makikita nyo madami ng logo options that you can choose from. You can also choose a style. Tapos you can just pick a template and start from there. Add your personality, add your color, tweak it, make it your own, and then that's it. Another option naman is to use Canva's newest templates, Canva brand board templates. So ang ginawa ko dito, let's pause it for a bit. Ginawa ko dito, I just added some keywords of what I want from the brand board. So I want medyo neutral green and yeah, green neutral colors. Tapos I added brand board. Tapos it took me here, options for brand boards. You can also do this. And then, okay, I went too fast there. Balik tayo konti. You'll see here na pag nag-search ka ng brand boards, madami siyang options. And it's a good way nga to start from. So pwedeng pumili ka ng brand board template, tapos tweak mo siya and make it your own. What I did was, I only need a logo for now. So I opened this template, and this brand board is really inspiring for me. So I use it as inspiration to create this logo. So I just copy the elements to a different logo document. So it's just created new design and then logo. Tapos ayan siya. And I change it to Sela. And I'll try to repeat it kasi I want to share a handy tip to everyone. You'll see here na lumabas yung shapes natin. I heard kasi that it's not known by a lot of people. So to access it, ang pwede niyong gawin is to use a shortcut for a shape. So yung shapes natin, shape shortcuts natin, either C for circle, R for square. Tapos pag nag-click ka nun, may lalabas na shape, either square or circle. Tapos matitrigger na niya yung shapes natin. And what's really good about this is it's very customizable. So pwede kang pumili ng shapes dyan, tapos madali na siyang scale. And there's also options to just have an outline of it and add the corner rounding. No, it's great. Revolutionary. So yan, pwedeng walang background siya and just the outline. You can play around with it. Okay, ang haba. Okay, there. That's my shape. I wanted it to look like a doorway or some sort of portal, but it's also the shape of the signature mirror. That's how I did that. And added another. I moved it sa likod. Tapos I added another rectangle on top of it para mukhang pumapasok yung H dun sa arc. Okay. It's fun to play with the shapes dito sa Canva. Okay. I don't want to end it pa pala kasi there's also another important tip here. When I download, ang ginawa ko dito was I chose SVG. Kasi pag SVG mo siya download, when you uploaded it on Canva, amazingly, you can change the colors. So it's gonna be like an element now, like one of the elements you find sa elements natin. Tapos pwede mo nang mabago yung kulay. So there, I saved it as SVG. Then here, we have our final logos. We have this logo that's more expressive and one that's simpler. And we'll use it depending on the need. All right, so now we have our final style guide, Sayla's final style guide. We have Sayla's logo, colors, imagery, and typography. Now we can create our brand kit on Canva. Here's a quick demo. You can upload your logos. Wait, sorry, medyo mabilis yun. You just need to go here sa brand, and then create your brand kit, add a name to it, upload your logos, add your colors, and your brand fonts. Now, bakit mo to gagawin? Why does this even matter? Kasi nga, you have your style, you have your brand, you have your style guide. Tapos, nilagay mo siya dito sa brand kit. What's really fun is, you have this already on the editor when you are designing. Madali na siyang ma-access lahat. Like, my brand fonts are here. Nandiyan na yung the youngest serif. I just need to click it. It falls under, my brand kit there. Tapos, nandiyan na rin yung colors ko. And also my logos. Tapos, di ba I mentioned a while ago, if you save it as SVG, amazingly change mo yung colors niya kahit like one element siya. So I change it here. Hindi lang, medyo hindi lang halata kasi gray din yung change ko. But it's a bit darker there. So I was able to change the color, and if I wanted to make it green instead of orange, kayang-kaya din. Alright, that's it for the session actually. Pero ayan, may pa-homework tayo. I really encourage you guys to complete your branding workbook and create your brand kit on Canva. Kaya nyo yan. Create your branding for your business kasi sabi nga nila, and sabi ko rin, kaya sa Canva. And then here are some resources to learn more about how Canva can help your business. One is canva.com/business-resources. You can scan the QR code as well. Tapos, here you'll find great resources, templates, toolkits to use for your business. You can take one and customize it for your own. And then we also have our Facebook communities, managed by our great community managers, Isa and Nice. It's a very engaging community, a great place for a great environment for learning together. That's all, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, joining me
Yun
kasi
naman.
may kasunod pa. And yes, I'm excited for you guys to make your own branding. Hope this session inspired you and make you feel more empowered to create your own branding. Kasi, guys, kaya sa Canva.
Yes, kaya-kaya sa Canva.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Chloe, no, for that very informative session.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I know, and nakikita ko sa comments kanina, Chloe, no, ang dami nung nagtatanong. So, sagutin natin yung ilan if we can't answer everything. Okay, so let's flash the first question. Okay, first question is from Angel.
Mm-mm.
Where do you usually seek inspiration for your creatives, Chloe?
Medyo mahirap.
Share mo ang
Okay.
secret sa amin, Chloe.
Well, actually, parang medyo nasagot na to sa intro natin. Kasi with the team that I am a part of, we're part of, yun nga, Brand Studio Manila. And our purpose talaga is to localize the Canva brand. So where we get inspiration sa storytelling namin are really the stories that happen sa, sa communities, yung mga naririnig natin, yung mga kwentong Pinoy. Yun yung inspiration natin sa storytelling. Sa design naman, since we're also localizing, parang ang inspiration din are the things around us. Because we are already here. Inspiration natin yung nature, the things that are happening outside, yung culture natin. So those are the basic things that you can go through. Tapos next naman, try to look for artists and designer that you admire. Tapos not huwag mo sila gayahin, but make them your inspiration. Find kung ano yung motivation nila and also identify your motivation then. Kasi that will really help. So, yes.
Ayan, okay. Thank you so much, Chloe. Ayan, tandaan natin yan, no. Pwedeng kumuha ng inspiration from your favorite artist, but also make it your own pa din, no.
Yes.
Siyempre, yan din ang pinaka-core ng branding, di ba? To be original, yan. Okay, sige, let's proceed with our question number 2. Ayan. Okay, sabi ni Achu Kanoy Harayo, for imagery, do you recommend changing color themes based on season? So, ano ang advice natin dyan, Chloe?
I think it's a personal decision. Kung makikwento mo pa rin, if it's gonna be the same, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. If you're still gonna be able to express the personality of your brand through the imagery, kung i-change mo man yung color niya, then pwede siya. But if yung brand mo is highly dependent on your imagery and how you compose your images, it's better to stick with it kasi yun na yung maaalala ng people. Tapos, parang pag nagbago lang siya ng setting or ng art direction, for example, medyo naging Christmas siya from summer, but it's still neutral. Medyo earth tones pa rin yung kulay niya. Recognizable siya agad na okay, Pasko, pero yan yung brand nila, yan yung story.
Yeah.
Yan yung
Tama rin
personality.
naman.
Parang brand for all seasons.
Yes, oo.
Ganda.
Dapat hindi naman kailangan i-change yung pinaka-branding, no? Parang yung lang, based on the theme, di ba?
Yes. Okay, let's move on to our next question. Sabi ni Angelica Bawar, is it better to have both the brand name and imagery on your logo?
Pwede nga ba yun? I-mix yung no?
Kasi may ibang brand na kumbaga logo lang, no? Imagery lang, walang
yes.
pangalan. Pero kilala mo. Merong
Tama.
iba naman, Pangalan lang,
Pangalan
walang
lang.
imagery. So, Chloe, ano sa tingin mo?
Anong advice mo dyan?
Yeah, it really depends on how you want to tell your story. Like my example tayo kanina, yung FedEx, meron siyang symbol within it. May it's a word mark, pero may symbol within it. Yun yung kwento niya. And if imagery naman, if it's a photo, it's okay for other cases, but not always. So also think of kung saan mo siya gagamitin, kung paano mo siya gagamitin, kung anong itsura niya sa situation na to or this other situation. Anong itsura niya sa billboard or sa social or sa print. So pwede mo ring isipin yun. Pwede kasing you have different variations of your logo. You have one that's just a symbol, and then you have one with the word mark. So may option din naman.
Sa bagay yung McDonald's, no, meron sila, kilala mo na agad. Pero kapag sa mga places, may McDonald's din na na label sa baba. Okay. Sige. Okay, next question. Sabi ni Lane Gava and Co., ilang colors ang advisable na mailagay sa logo? Ayan. Meron bang limit? Kailangan ba 4 lang? Ganun.
Up to you, but not too much. Kasi if you put everything, then it's gonna be watered down na ulit. It's not gonna be easy to identify na. But it really depends on the situation. Like if your logo or if your main colors are all the colors of the rainbow, and there's a reason behind that. But kaya mo siyang ma-justify and kaya mo siyang makwento properly, then good for you. Kaya na naman, pwede na naman. But it's better to stay on the simpler side and medyo mas, yun nga, simpler side para mas may clarity and mas madaling maalala. Hindi siya masyadong madami i-consume ng audience mo na kailangan niya pang pag-aralan. Okay, ito lahat ng colors niya. It's better na, okay, this brand represents happiness. So, orange yung color niya. And that's a good way to start. One lang muna.
Okay. Ganda. Isa lang. Para simple lang tayo. Alright. Thank you so much ulit, Chloe, for that very informative session and for answering all our questions. Kung may mga tanong po kayo, babalikan kayo ng engagement team namin, si MC. So, abangan nyo lang yung mga reply niya. See you again, Chloe, and good night.
Yes, thank you, Chloe.
Thank you, everyone. Paalam.
Bye. Okay. Ang ganda nun. Ang ganda ng buong talk, no?
Diba?
Anyways, sabi namin sa inyo kanina, meron kaming surprise para sa inyo. So, ito na ang first pasabog natin for tonight.
Ayan, okay. Gusto mo ba ng free brand consultation with our Canva design mentors? Yes. Kung yes ang sagot ninyo, just fill out this Google form flashed on the screen for a chance to be one of the 10 negosyantes or freelancers na matutulungan namin na paluguin ang inyong business.
To know more about this, please join our Canva for Negosyo Facebook group. Yan, hanapin nyo lang po dyan sa Facebook, Canva for Negosyo. Ang community po na ito ay para sa mga negosyante at mga nagpaplano pa lang mag-start ng kanilang negosyo para you can build and expand your business with the help of Canva and our growing community of more than 27,000 Pinoy negosyantes. And feeling ko tonight, madadagdagan pa yan.
Yes. At sa mga current and aspiring freelancers naman natin, no, sali naman kayo sa Canva for Pinoy Freelancers and Creatives community and have a safe space to share, ask, collaborate, and discuss all things related to design, freelance work, or Canva. So we have more than 59 members na rin dyan. Kaya join na kayo.
59,000.
Oh, 59,000 pala. Ayan. So I'm currently flashing ngayon sa screen ang mga links, no, kung gusto nyong i-scan, or you can also search us on Facebook. So Canva for Negosyo again for all our negosyantes there. And ito naman, on the next slide is Canva for Pinoy freelancers and creatives. Kapag kayo naman ay mga content creators, ganyan.
Okay. Thank you, Isa. At ito na, sunod-sunod, ang ating next surprise. We have a mini giveaway. So if you can comment, ready, medyo may delay lang pag nabasa namin pero mababasa namin yan. If you are ready for the next giveaway, comment ready. At kung gusto nyo pong manalo ng Lazada vouchers, yes, pang shopping.
Ang bongga natin. Sponsored by Lazada tayo ngayon. Kaya comment ready at ipa-flash namin ng mechanics in a while, no? Sobrang bongga nitong surprise natin. Kaya sige, habang inaantay natin ng comments.
Ayan, bumabahan na actually ng ready.
Ay, wow! In fairness, mabilis ang pagpasok ng
Yes.
ating comments. Right?
Pag vouchers, mabilis.
Oo. Kayo nilaloko nyo kami, ha? Ayan, sige. So, let me share the mechanics in the next slide. Okay. So, giveaway time. So, share this live stream on your Facebook account with the hashtag Kaya sa Canva and make sure to set your post on public para makita namin. And also, comment Kaya sa Canva once done kapag na-share nyo na. And i-reiterate ko lang, no, make it public para makita ng ating team, no, and ma-shortlist namin kayo as one of the winners. And after that, mamimili kami ng 3 lucky winners na i-announce namin mamaya. Kaya tutok lang until the end of the live.
Yan, ako, tumutok talaga. Vouchers yan. Sayang naman. Sana nag-enjoy kayo sa ating mga prizes and good luck sa inyo and congratulations sa mga mananalo. Okay, I'm sure excited na kayo for our next speaker. So let me introduce her. She has been with the DTI family for 24 years. Grabe. She was primarily responsible for the development and rollout of the business name registration system Next Generation in 2019. She was also one of the focal person in DTI on ease of doing business, responsible for the implementation of key initiatives to improve the country's business climate. She was one of the finalists in the 2018 Huwarang DTI Employee of the Year Award under DTI's system on performance rewards and incentives. Here to talk about registering your business with DTI, let's all welcome Supervising Trade Industry Development Specialist of DTI Business Name Registration Division, Ms. Josephine Igay Viray. Take it away, Ms. Igay.
Hi everyone, good evening. I hope hindi pa bedtime. Maaga pa. So I hope you can stay with us until the end. So marami pa daw pabimigay si Canva. Pwede bang sumali dyan? Anyway, I can be your DTI representative if you need one. Para dun sa mananalo, para mag-supervise. Anyway, so we'll be talking about Business Registration 101 tonight. So, this is very important, lalo na dun sa mga gustong pumasok sa negosyo or nag-iisip pa lang or nasa negosyo na pero hindi pa pala rehistrado. Ano ba talaga tong business registration na to? Okay? So, let me, okay. Let's start now. So ito po yung ating presentation for tonight. I hope, again, you will stay until the end. We'll talk about doing business in the Philippines. Ano na ba ang nangyari sa Pilipinas? Ano yung business landscape natin? And then next, most important is why register your business. So para sa mga negosyante, ano ba yung benepisyo ng pagre-register ng negosyo ninyo? And then we'll also talk about how to register your business. Of course, paano nga ba? Ano mga kailangan? Ano mga steps? And then I'll be sharing with you about what the government is doing to ease doing business in the Philippines. And lastly, of course, since I'm from DTI, I'll be sharing with you about the business name registration system. Okay, let's start the ball rolling. Okay, So this is what you see on your screen is yung sinasabi ko nga, yung doing business in the Philippines. This is actually a survey done by the World Bank on doing business. This is an annual survey, but unfortunately it was discontinued. The last report was issued in 2020, the Doing Business 2020 report. As you can see here, these are yung mga graphs na nakikita nyo. This represents yung pinagdadaanan daw ng isang negosyo. This is ang parang case study nito, yung negosyo sa bawat country na domestically incorporated. So ito ay mga corporation, simple corporation lang siya, and nag-register siya sa city in the economy or in the country with the largest or the most number of business registration. So in the Philippines, this is Quezon City. What you will see here is doing business in Quezon City in particular, but it represents the whole of the Philippines kasi ganun yung case study ng World Bank in coming up with this report, the doing business report. So yung 10 na bars na yan, it represents starting a business, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, registering property, getting credit, protecting minority investors, paying taxes, trading across borders, enforcing contracts, and resolving insolvency. So these are the stages or the steps or what the life cycle of a business from starting to closing a business. So in the Philippines, as you can see, yung in starting a business, yung naka-encircle, that is how the Philippines fare doon sa among 190 economies that was surveyed by World Bank. So it takes 13 steps daw and 33 days to register a business in the Philippines. So it measures the number of procedures, the time, and the cost, even the paid-in minimum capital requirement for a small to medium-sized limited liability company to start up and formally operate in each economy's largest business city. So in the Philippines, that's Quezon City. So ganyan po. Unfortunately, I'll show you in the next screen how we compare naman among our neighboring countries or ASEAN countries. So as you can see, this is for starting a business alone. So makikita nyo, nasa medyo bottom tayo. We are just higher than Laos and Cambodia. Siyempre, ang nangunguna among ASEAN countries is Singapore. And among the 190 countries, ang number one is New Zealand because it only takes one step and not even a day, half a day lang to start a business in New Zealand. But in the Philippines, as shown earlier, it will take you 13 steps and 33 days. But that report was issued last 2020. And yan, unfortunately, again, yan nga, napakababa ng Philippines. So let's see naman, pero despite that, gaano ba kadami ang nagre-register ng business nila sa Pilipinas? So this will show you, this data is from the DILG, and this is based on business registration sa mga local governments. So yung mga nai-issuehan ng business or mayor's permit. So as you can see, nag-i-increase naman po annually yung ating total of business establishments registered in the Philippines. And last year alone, there are 2,337,750 businesses that has registered sa mga LGUs or the city or municipality where their business is located. So this is a graphical representation lang. So it says that in the last 5 years, so saan may pinakamaraming nag-register ng business? Siyempre sa NCR and Region 4A. Sila yung top na region, this is per region, na pinakamaraming negosyo na nag-register. Of course, we all know na hindi naman lahat na nag-ooperate ng negosyo ay nagre-register. So bakit nga kaya? So mamaya malalaman ninyo ano ba yung mga steps. Mahirap pa rin ba talaga? Anyway, so this will show you naman the 2020 list of establishments of the Philippine Statistics Authority. So ang source naman to is PSA. So it has recorded a total of 957,620 business enterprises operating in the country. So as you can see, iba yung numbers ni PSA compared to DILG. Kasi sa DILG, they base it on the business registration or yung mga kumukuha ng mayor's permit. While si PSA, syempre iba yung method din niya ng survey. So ito yung report ni PSA in 2020. As you can see, it's makikita nyo ilan yung micro, ilan yung small, ilan yung medium, and ilan yung large. So the number of business establishments will show you that 99.51% of all businesses are MSMEs. Alam nyo ba yun? So napakaraming MSMEs compared to the large enterprises. And then with regards to employment naman, so 62.66% of total employment are from MSMEs. So despite the number, syempre mas marami pa rin na employ yung mga large kasi large nga sila eh. So paano ba nalalaman kung small, paano malalaman kung micro enterprise ka, small ba, medium o large? So sorry. Hindi nagmo-move yung aking slide. Sorry. Okay. There. Sorry. So let me again explain ano ba yung micro, ano yung small, ano yung medium, ano yung large. So it's categorized, yung classification na yun, it's categorized either by asset size or by the number of employees. So kung micro ka, yung asset size mo is up to 3 million pesos, and in terms of number of employees, you have 1 to 9 employees. So kung ganun ka, micro enterprise ka. Now, if your asset is more than 3 million to 15 million pesos and you employ 10 to 99 employees, you are considered a small enterprise. And then for medium, you have an asset of more than 15 million up to 100 million, and your number of employees is 100 to 199 employees. And of course, kapag large ka, more than 100 million, and you employ 200 and above employees. So, doon mo malalaman kung micro ka, small, medium, or large. Okay? So, next. So, now, let's go to the why. Why register? Bakit nga ba kailangan magrehistro ng isang negosyo? Because registering your business means being part of the formal economy. Siyempre, if you want to be recognized and be part of the formal economy, you should be registered. Your business should be registered. Of course, it also creates new investments and job opportunities as shown in the previous slides na nag-generate talaga siya ng job opportunities para sa mga Filipino. So if it also increases government revenues for better delivery of public services. Of course, kung registered yung business mo, nagbabayad ka ng tamang taxes, the tax goes to the government and for better delivery of public services. Okay? So what's in it naman for the business? So for the business, it gives legitimacy to your business, of course. Kapag ka-rehistrado ka, sasabihin legit ka. Pag hindi ka rehistrado, hindi ka legit, di ba? So it gives your business a stability and legal standing. So kung let's say you'll be filing a case in court, you'll have a legal standing kung registered yung business mo. It helps gain your customers' trust and confidence. Of course, kung rehistrado ka, alam ng mga clients mo na kung saan ka nila hahanapin kasi may record ka with the government. And of course, it qualifies your business to receive legal and financial services offered by the national and the local government. Like yung mga loans, mga financial assistance. So, ang requirement is for you to be registered. Otherwise, you won't be able to avail of these services. And of course, para sa'yo, it gives you peace of mind. Kasi hindi ka natatakot na, uy, baka mahuli ako kasi hindi ako rehistrado. So, of course, pag na-register mo yung business mo, lahat nung kaba mo mawawala and makaka-focus ka na sa papalago ng iyong negosyo. Okay? So, Now, how to register your business? So, madali lang naman, hindi na siya yung kagaya nung survey ni World Bank na 13 steps and 33 days. Kasi the government has made business registration in the Philippines easier. So, kailangan lang, you will have to determine anong type ng business ba ang gusto mo. Do you want it sole proprietorship? Do you want it one-person corporation, partnership, or a corporation, or a cooperative? So, pag alam mo na kung anong type ng business yung gusto mo, then malalaman mo na saan ka ba dapat magrehistro. So, for sole proprietorships, you would need to register first with the DTI. So, yun yung primary registration. You will register your business name. So para rin siyang it helps with your branding din, kagaya nung natutunan natin kanina. You would need to have a business name for your business transactions. So if you're a sole proprietor, you need to register your business name first with the DTI. And then if you want to be a one-person corporation, so it's already allowed in the Philippines to establish a corporation na isa lang yung may-ari. Hindi mo na kailangan maghanap ng mga dummy incorporator. So kahit nag-iisa ka, you can establish a one-person corporation. So ano kaibahan nun sa sole proprietorship? So sa sole proprietorship, ikaw lang yung may-ari ng negosyo and you have all the liabilities ng business. So kapag nagkautang yung negosyo mo, pati yung mga personal assets mo ay maipambabayad mo dun sa utang ng negosyo mo kapag sole proprietorship. While for one-person corporation, you have the limited liability, which means kapag corporation na one-person corporation, yung mga personal assets mo ay hiwalay dun sa assets ng negosyo mo. And if magkaroon ng liability yung negosyo mo, hindi makukuha yung personal assets mo to pay for your liability. So yun yung limited liability. Yun yung kagandahan ng one-person corporation. So you have to register that with the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. So ganun din for partnerships and corporations, register first with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, if you want to go into a cooperative, you want to establish a cooperative na may mga members, you must first register with CDA or the Cooperative Development Authority. Okay? So, yun yung primary registration. And then, next is you have to apply for your TIN, yung business TIN nyo, or taxpayer identification number with BIR. Of course, iba yung personal TIN mo doon sa pag naging employer ka na, your business will have its own TIN. So register with the BIR. You have also to get your certificate of registration for the business from BIR. And then you must also register with the city or municipality where your business is located. So that's the LGU, what we call the local government unit. And then you also have to register as an employer with SSS, with PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. So, yun naman yung mga secondary licenses na tinatawag natin. And depending on the nature of your business, you have to register also with other national government agencies. Halimbawa, if you are engaged into selling or distribution of pharmaceutical products, so saan kayo dapat mag-register? So, dapat aside from your mayor's permit, kukuha ka rin ng license to operate from FDA if you're engaged, kung ba pharmacy or drugstore. And then halimbawa, di ba, if you're gonna engage in yung mga transport service, you have to register it or get a franchise from the LTFRB. So depending on the nature of your business, you also have to register with other government agencies. And then next, so now, how to register? So napakadali lang, sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi na kagaya dati. So for sole proprietorship, you have to register with DTI. Just present a valid ID and then submit an accomplished DTI prescribed application form. And pwede, kung hindi pwede yung owner mismo mag-file, pwede siya mag-authorize ng isang representative. Just give him or her an authorization letter, and then he or she will have to present also his or her valid ID and then pay the registration fee. So, ganun lang po kadali pag register ng business name sa DTI. So, yung DTI business name registration, the business name, you will use it in your, yung mga resibo. Yun yung ilalagay nyo na pangalan sa resibo ninyo. And all your business transactions, yung business name ninyo na nakaregister sa DTI, yun yung gagamitin ninyo. And there's a law that says that you have to register first your business name with DTI before using it in your business transactions. And then next, for one-person corporation or OPC, partnerships and corporations, of course, register with SEC as I've mentioned a while ago. And the steps are, first is the name reservation and verification. And then you have to submit and the pre-processing and undergo the pre-processing of articles of incorporation and its attachments. You have to submit those to SEC. Of course, pay the filing fee. And of course, aside from the articles of incorporation, you have to have it authenticated along with the proof of payment and then submit it, sign it, and then submit it. And then for cooperatives, you have to register with CDA. It has the same process almost with the SEC registration. You have to go the name reservation, you undergo name reservation, and then submit copies of your economic survey, articles of cooperation and bylaws, surety bond, and accountable officers, treasurer's affidavit, and then approved cooperative name reservation slip. And you have to attend the pre-membership education seminar. So you'll get a certificate of pre-membership education seminar from CDA and submit those also. And of course, pay the registration fee. So medyo mas maraming requirement for cooperatives. And so yun, so now that you have your primary registration, you will also have to register, as I mentioned earlier, with the city or municipality where your business is located. So these are the standard documentary requirements for registration with the LGU or the city or municipality where your business is located. So you will need to submit a unified application form, your proof of registration. If you are sole prop, so you'll submit your DTI business name registration. For OPC, corporation and partnership, submit your SEC registration. And for cooperatives, submit your CDA registration. And then you will also have to submit proof of right of applicant to use the location as business address. So if you are the owner of the business location or the establishment or the structure where your business will be located, you will have to submit your transfer certificate title or your tax deck or your tax declaration. And if not, if you are renting, you would have to submit a copy of your contract of lease or memorandum of agreement. That will serves as proof that that the owner is giving his or her consent to you to use his or her place for your business. And of course, you will have to submit the locational plan or sketch of the location, clearly showing where your business premise is located. So bakit kailangan nun? Because when you register your business or when you secure your business or mayor's permit, meron pong inspection. The LGU representatives will go to your business location and inspect the place so that they will see if it's compliant with local ordinances. Okay, and you will also submit, this is a requirement of BSP or the Bureau of Fire Protection, the fire safety inspection for occupancy that is valid for the last 9 months. And for applicants with valid FSIC or the Fire Safety Inspection Certificate for occupancy, submit an affidavit of undertaking that there have been no substantial changes made on the building or establishment given the FSIC. So, kailangan po ninyong ma-secure yun as a requirement of the BFP or the Bureau of Fire Protection. So, ang source po nitong standard documentary requirements is the ARTA or the Anti-Red Tape Authority, DTI, DILG, and DICT Joint Memorandum Circular or JMC. Okay? So number 01 series of 2021. So this is what we okay. Nasa na yung slide? Yan. This is what I was telling you about, that the government is doing something to is doing business. Kaya ini-standardize na po yung documentary requirements. But still, please inquire with the concerned Business Permits and Licensing Office of the city or municipality where your business is located if there are other requirements that will be needed for you to secure muna before you file for an application for your business or mayor's permit. Kasi while we want to standardize the requirements for all LGUs, may kanya-kanya po kasing ordinances ang ating mga local government units or yung mga cities and municipalities. So it's better if you check with them before you file for the application para hindi po kayo pabalik-balik. Okay? So next, sino ba yung dapat mag-register or kumuha ng mayor's permit sa mga LGUs or sa mga cities and municipalities? Again, based on the Joint Memorandum Circular issued by ARTA, DTI, DILG, and DICT, these are the persons and establishments requiring business permits. First is an individual, partnership, corporation, or cooperative regularly engaged in trade or commercial activity as a means of livelihood or with a view to profit in the city or municipality. So yung mga nagnenegosyo, basically lahat ng gustong magnegosyo para kumita, kailangan po kumuha ng business or mayor's permit from the local government unit. And then, persons legally authorized to practice, ito, take note for those who are freelancers na tinatawag. Persons legally authorized to practice their profession or professionals and maintain or operate a clinic or office exclusively for the exercise of their profession. So, ang sinasabi po, kung kayo ay magtatayo ng opisina or clinic for mga doctors, kailangan po or rini-require ng local government unit na makakumuha kayo ng business or mayor's permit. But yung iba, yung mga freelancers nga na sinasabi na hindi naman nila balak or hindi nila kailangan magtayo ng office or clinic or yun nga, wala silang pwesto, wala silang physical location na wala, ano lang sila, parang table lang at computer, okay na sila. So, check again with your city, municipal, business permits and licensing office of the city or municipality where you are residing if you will need to secure a business or mayor's permit. Explain to them kung ano yung nature ng business nyo, or if it's not a business, it's just a practice of profession. Yun, you will need to inquire. But in DTI, for business name registration, if you will not be using a business name other than your true name, you don't need to register your business name with DTI. Okay? So, ganun yung rule for business name registration. Kung hindi ka gagamit ng business name other than your true name, you don't need to register your business name with DTI. But for LGUs and for BIR, you still need to check with them. Depende kasi po sa nature ng inyong business or kung paano kayo kumikita. But basically, instead of securing business or mayor's permit for those practicing professionals, either licensed or non-licensed, you will need to secure or you will need to apply for occupational tax receipt for non-license, and for license you need to apply for professional tax receipt. Saan yan? Doon yan sa from the city treasurer's office at the concerned city or municipality where you are residing. So okay, so yun po. And then next, now, let's go to registration sa BIR. So what are the requirements for registering your business with BIR? For the BIR registration, you need to submit your BIR form 1901 or 1903, depending on your type of business. If sole prop ka, 1901. If corporation, that's BIR form 1903, together with the documentary requirements. So depending on the nature of business, kung ano yung documentary requirements. So basically, kung sole prop, you will need to submit your DTI, business name registration. And then for corporation, again, SEC registration. And for corporation, cooperative, CDA registration. Of course, there's a payment of annual registration fee. And then you need, of course, if you will be registering with BIR for tax purposes, you will need to issue official receipts. So you will need to buy BIR printed receipts or invoice. Or you can also have it printed, but you will need to secure an authority to print receipts from BIR. Okay? Now, another thing that I would like to share, kasi for BIR registration, kailangan po na kailan ba dapat ma-register ang inyong negosyo with BIR? So, and sino-sino ba ang dapat mag-register with the BIR? Siyempre, all those engaged in business or profession. So that includes yung mga freelancers. So if you are self-employed, yun yung practicing professionals or a professional or corporation, you would need to register with the BIR. So kailan dapat i-register ang BIR? According to BIR, when the first sale or transaction has occurred, dapat nakaregister na kayo kay BIR or within 30 calendar days from the issuance of mayor's permit or professional tax receipt by the LGU, or kung kailan na-register yung corporation with SEC, bilang kayo ng 30 days, dapat within the 30-day period, ma-register nyo na yung negosyo nyo with the BIR. Otherwise, you will incur penalty. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yan. Next. So, now, yung as mentioned earlier, may ginagawa naman si government to ease doing business. So, this is let me tell you about the Central Business Portal under Republic Act 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act. So this law was enacted in 2018, and the benefits are for the citizens because transacting with government dapat nga very easy na siya. It should be hassle-free. So the law prescribes the processing time. So we have 3 days for simple transactions, 7 days for technical, 3 days for simple, 7 days for complex transactions, and then 20 days for highly technical transactions. So if documents are complete and in order, it should be easier and faster to get permits, licenses, clearance, etc. from the government. So, yun yung benepisyo naman sa Filipino citizens. For business, for the business sector, whether starting a business or running a business, the issuance of business permits and licenses must be simple, speedy, and streamlined in all government agencies. Pag hindi, you can report them to the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Okay? And then for government employees and officials, since public service is public trust, government personnel are expected to deliver timely and efficient government service and must be held liable. So may mga penalties po yan. They must demonstrate integrity at all times. Okay? So, again, ang nag-i-implement nitong law na to, the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018 is the Anti-Red Tape Authority. So, they are also imposing penalties, and they are also mandating all government agencies, including the local government units, to come up with their citizens charter. So dapat bawat opisinang lalapitan nyo ay may nakapaskil na citizens charter where you will see the steps that you need to undergo in applying or processing your application, sino-sino yung personnel involved or responsible for that step or for that particular process, and how much and what are the requirements. So yun yung basihan ninyo kapag merong hiningi sa inyo na requirement na wala doon sa listahan nila sa Citizens Charter, pwede nyong i-call yung attention nila or you can report them to the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Okay? Next. So, ito, the Central Business Portal. Ano ba tong Central Business Portal na to under the RA 11032? The Central Business Portal is a digitized platform for all the different business-related government information and transactions, such as securing business permits, licenses, and clearances. It aims to bridge the different processes of different government agencies into one portal. So you can access the Central Business Portal through this link. Just go to business.gov.ph. I-try nyo ngayon. Puntahan ninyo kung ano tong sinasabi kong Central Business Portal. But for now, the Central Business Portal is being developed on a phased approach, with the initial phase focused on helping the business sector and the Filipino people in registering their businesses. So for now, it's for starting a business muna. Registering your business with the government agencies na explain ko kanina. Yung mga steps na yon, yung mga requirements na yon. So ngayon, pwede nyo nang gawin online. So you don't need to go to each of the government agencies involved in registering your business. You just need to go to this portal, the Central Business Portal. Go to business.gov.ph. Okay, so this was relaunched as the Philippine Business Hub. So pag pinuntahan nyo yung business.gov.ph, ang makikita nyo yung name na niya is the Philippine Business Hub. Hindi na siya sa Central Business Portal. It was relaunched recently lang, last June 20, 2022. So it is a one-stop shop where you can register your business. It also serves as a gateway to the government agencies that are instrumental in business application. Through integration with the government agencies, a single account can be used for business registration. So when you go to the portal, you just need to sign up. Single sign up lang siya, and then you can access all the registration processes or applications for business registration with all the involved national government agencies. Okay, so it's still not showing. I have already clicked the next slide. Okay. Now, let me show you the video, a short video regarding the Central Business Portal when it was launched last June at Quezon City Hall. They showed this video. So, can we please
starting
show
a business in the Philippines?
video?
It allows clients to register their businesses online, which reduces inconvenience in dealing with heavy traffic, long lines, and difficult processes. The establishment of the CBP is mandated by RA number 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business and Division Government Service Delivery Act of 2018. RA 11032 aims to eliminate red tape, graft and corruption, ensure transparency, and promote the ease of doing business. To strengthen the country's e-governance, especially in starting a business, the CBP is now being relaunched as the Philippine Business Hub. The PBH is developed in phases and features an end-to-end process with a monitoring dashboard and a unified application form. Several agencies and LGUs were already onboarded to accommodate applications from business entities. Stock, non-stock, and partnership corporations can register to SEC through the system, while sole proprietors can already register their businesses with DTI. Applicants, including approved corporations from SEC as part, may proceed with their registration with BIR for the issuance of TIN and payment of registration fees, SSS PhilHealth and Pag-ibig for the employee number and reporting of initial employee list through the Unified Employee Reporting Form, and FDA for license to operate pharmaceutical firms. Users may also access CBA's eCupris and the frontline business services of several LGUs, and download business registration certificates through the platform. Moving forward, more LGUs and agencies will be onboarded to the PBH. The registration of business branches and cooperatives, processing of business renewal, through the implementation of the PBH, the Philippine business ecosystem shall continuously flourish. The Philippine Business Hub. Business made easy 24/7.
Okay, so let's go back to the slides, please. Okay, so with the Philippine Business Hub, the time and steps it takes to register a business has significantly reduced from 13 steps to 6 steps. So yung 13 steps na sinabi ng World Bank, ngayon 6 steps na lang. And from 33 days, now it has been shortened to 3 days na lang. Okay? So as envisioned, it will only take 1 step and 1 day to register a business in the Philippines in the future through the Philippine Business Hub. So let's pray for that. And we in government are working for that. Okay? So very shortly, just a few slides more left. So let me show you naman about the DTI's business name registration system. So this is the portal naman ni DTI so that you can register your business names online. So the business name registration system, it's very simple, it's easy to use, it's convenient. All you need is a mobile device connected to the internet, and it will only take you 3 steps to register your business name with the DTI. That is apply for your business name registration, pay the registration fee using the available options. You can pay online or through DTI or through the cash payment partners, and then download your certificate. So ganun lang po dali to apply for a business name online with the business name registration system of DTI. So all you have to do is go to bnrs.dti.gov.ph, and then on the menu you will see yung business name services and click new registration. You can also renew your business name. So your business name registration is renewable every 5 years. So you will have to renew also online na lang rin. You don't need to go to any DTI office to renew your business name registration. Just go to bnrs.dti.gov.ph. So on how to register, you just need to go to our DTI YouTube page. So for the instructional videos, you can also visit the registration guide dito rin sa bnrs.dti.gov.ph. And for other information and starting and growing your business, you may visit the official DTI page website. That's the dti.gov.ph. That's the official portal of DTI. And also, you can visit the DTI Negosyo Center online for more information about how to start and grow your business. You will see there yung mga mentoring, meron din mga ganon, mga trainings on how to improve your products or services. Branding, meron din ganon dyan. So visit those websites so you can learn more on how to improve and grow your business. Malay nyo, from micro maging small kayo, from small maging medium, and then from medium you'll be a large enterprise. So for any questions or if you need other information, you can email DTI at ask@dti.gov.ph, or for business name registration related inquiries and concerns, you can email BNRS helpdesk@dti.gov.ph. You can also send a text or a Viber message to these numbers. Okay, that's all. Thank you. I hope marami kayong natutunan on business registration. I think kumonte yung ating viewers kasi I would assume yung iba na nag-leave ay nakapag-register na ng business kaya hindi na nila kailangan matutunan
We are
yung business
strong at
registration.
1,494, Miss Igay. So,
yes, marami
okay
pa
lang
rin
yan.
po yan. Talagang tumutok sila until your session, no?
Thank you, thank you.
Sige.
So thank you very much, Miss Igay. Akalain niyo yun, ganun lang po pala kadali mag-register ng inyong business.
Yes, 'di ba? Pwede na pala online. So lahat 'yan in 3 easy steps po, no? You can do that. And also sa business name nyo rin, pwede na rin 'yan online. So hindi niyo na po kailangan pumunta sa mga different or government centers dahil pwede na 'yan lahat online.
Yeah, it saves you
So,
time, effort, and money.
Yes, correct yan. Sige. So, ang nakita ko, Miss Igay, ang dami na nating mga question, no? So, let's open the floor to any question from our viewers. Sige. So, let's flash siguro ang ating question number 1. Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Maria, may penalty po ba if late na register yung business? Ayan.
Okay.
Ano po ba ang ano dyan?
Sige. So, syempre, you would need to register with different agencies, no? So, different agencies, different yung policies nila. But for DTI, wala namang late registration. So, you can register your business team anytime. Okay? Ganon din with SEC and the CDA. But I think with BIR, there is a penalty if late yung registration nyo. As I mentioned earlier, from the time na magkaroon kayo ng first transaction, dapat meron na kayong resibo eh. Dapat registered na kayo kay BIR. So, ang sinasabi nila, once you've registered or you have secured your primary registration with DTI or SEC or CDA, within 30 days, mag-register na kayo with BIR para walang penalty.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Igay. Okay, let's show our next question. Galing naman po kay Venus de Ocampo Moscoso. Ayan. After 5 years, pwede po bang magpalit ng name ang isang business?
Of course, it's your prerogative, no? So, business decision nyo yan if you want to change your business name. So, yung validity ng business name registration with this DTI is good for 5 years. If you want to still continue using the registered business name, you can renew it as early as 180 calendar days before the expiration date.
Okay.
Yes, so
Pwede
meron
pala.
kaming early renewal. And even after expiration, you still have another 180 days to register your business name or renew the business name registration. But if you want to change, that's another story. All you have to do is register your new business name. And if you don't want to use or you don't need anymore your old business name na naka-register with DTI, you can always voluntarily cancel it. Yung business name registration.
I-cancel.
Pwede i-cancel. Yeah. Apply for a
Okay.
cancellation ng business name with DTI. Unfortunately, yung cancellation ng business name registration, wala pa online. That service is
Mm-mm.
will be automated pa. Hindi pa sa ngayon. All you have to do is go to the nearest DTI regional or provincial office. So lahat ng probinsya naman merong DTI.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Last question.
Sige. Sige, last question na tayo kasi we are running out of time, no? So, from Bing Oxales, sabi niya, Miss Igay, same requirements to register the business in this case when you have a virtual office. So, kapag wala daw bang physical office, is it the same?
Yes, it's exactly the same regardless if it's online or meron kayong brick and mortar na or physical store. Kailangan po same requirements, same din yung proseso ng pag-register ng inyong negosyo. The difference is that yun nga for online businesses, yun nga, pwede yung tanong sa LGU nyo pag kumuha kayo ng mayor's permit, kung may mga babayaran pa ba na other fees like yung garbage fee, kasi wala naman kayong sanitary fee, baka exempted na kayo doon kasi nga online naman yung business nyo. But as a matter of fact, nung 2020, during the pandemic, no, yung kasagsagan ng pandemic, tumaas yung business name registration nung 2020.
Okay.
Kasi marami pong nag-online business.
Business, totoo.
Yes.
Actually, Miss Igay, no, share ko lang din. Kaya kami rin ina-start natin yung Canva for Negosyo, no. Kasi talagang nakita namin yung boom ng business talaga during the pandemic. Kaya yon para maka-help din with their business resources. Ayun. Kaya natin siya
Yes, and DTI is very thankful din kay Canva for promoting entrepreneurship and yan nga ito. Kahit yung mga freelancers na yung mga creative industry, isa yan sa priority sector natin ngayon that we want to help to be developed and ma-improve talaga lahat ng na pumapasok sa industry na to.
Amazing. Aligned ang goals ng DTI
Yes.
and Canva Philippines. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
so marami
Miss
pa
Igay.
siguro tayong partnerships, no?
Yes.
So,
Yes, abangan
I was-
natin yan.
Yes. So last thing pa wala kanina when Chloe was explaining about branding. So maybe you can also have a session with the Intellectual Property Office for the
Wow.
registration ng trademark. Kasi importante yung brand nyo, yung logo nyo, ipa-trademark nyo sa Intellectual
Yes,
Property
tama
Office.
yan.
Sige, ilista na natin yan for our
Naka-schedule na, Miss Igay.
Yes,
Thank you
great.
so much, Miss Igay.
Ayun.
Alright. So as much po as we want to answer all of your questions, medyo wala na po tayong time. Baka gutom na po kayo.
Yun pala. Ayun. Thank
Salamat
you so
din
much
sa mga
again.
nagstay. Yeah.
Yes. Ayan. Thank you so much, Miss Igay, for that really informative session again. I'm sure na maraming natutunan ng ating viewers about the importance and benefits of registering your business. Ayun. Bye and see you soon again po.
Bye, Miss Igay. Okay, ako, yung totoo, Isa, gutom na ako eh. Pero sobrang busog po ako sa learnings natin ngayong gabi. Ikaw ba, Isa?
Ako rin, Gladys, no? Sa katunayan, baka hindi na nga ako mag-dinner eh, kasi nabusog na ako sa jump pack session natin.
Totoo.
Yes. Pero charot lang yan, syempre.
All right, and that ends our first day of Negosyantrens Canva MSME Summit. Yes, tapos na.
Yes.
Pero first day pa lang po ito, kaya samahan niyo ulit kami on July 21, July 26, and July 28. Ayan, exciting rin ang aming mga upcoming topics. Promise.
Yan. Ayun, nabanggit mo nga, no, Gladys, dahil on, let me just share, no, ang ating screen. Dahil on July 21, we will be learning to navigate naman the world of e-commerce na talaga namang sobrang helpful for all our negosyantes and mga freelancers din. So we've invited one of the biggest e-commerce platforms here in the Philippines, walang iba kung hindi ang Lazada, to share their expertise with us.
Wow, grabe. We will also be sharing tips and tricks about designing for success sa e-commerce. So kung meron po kayong negosyo sa mga e-commerce site natin, para sa inyo po ito. Another jam-packed learning session yon. Kaya kita-kits tayo on July 21, that's 6 p.m. dito po ulit sa Facebook page natin.
Yes, and again, we would like to acknowledge all our event partners, no? So thank you so much for making this event possible with us. And special shout out again to our official media partners. So wheninmanila.com, Adobo Magazine, CNN Philippines, spot.ph, and Esquire Philippines as well.
And don't forget rin to join our Facebook communities sa mga negosyante dyan. Please feel free to join Canva for Negosyo and ma-inspire from fellow entrepreneurs like you.
Yes. And for our freelancers naman, content creators, social media managers, you name it, sali naman kayo sa Canva for Pinoy freelancers and creatives for more tips and exclusive updates na rin straight from the Canva team.
Yan. And don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. Sa Facebook po, alam niyo na, dito niyo ko pinapanood, it's Canva. But on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, we are Canva_PH. Again, maraming salamat po at nakisaya kayo sa amin ngayong gabi. Again, my name is Gladys.
And I'm Isa. Kita-kits tayo on July 21 for Day 2 of Negosyantrans, the Canva MSME Summit 2022. Bye!
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. feel so much better, oh yeah. Before you I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky, oh. There's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a